So you say you want to be a mouse. Well, I don't know if we can work that out exactly, but what about maybe the cheese? Or what is it, the old lady with the cleaver that cuts off the tails? Maybe something. Don't go away, we'll talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Paul from Fat Guy Productions, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And yes indeed, we are offering you an opportunity to be an honorary mouse. Now, the three blind mice, myself, Lee, and George, we're going to stay the same. And we're going to keep doing what we've been doing, which is, do we have one? Oh, got one right here. The bug bomb, okay? It's where we take the same casting, no rules, and just say, make something. Well, Lee came up with the fantastic idea of opening that up to you guys. So we're inviting you to join along with us. And today is the very first Three Blind Mice Invitational. We're going to be taking the Flashsider, Diecast Hot Wheel Flashsider, and we're going to be building that into whatever it is that we want to build. And we've invited you guys to join along with us. We're going to host our videos on our own Three Blind Mice YouTube page, and we're going to like and share yours on our page as well. All you have to do is take the pre-announced car, convert it, make a video, let us know, and we will host it on our channel along with our builds. So with no further ado, let's get to the Flashsider. All right, everybody, welcome to what I am calling the Three Blind Mice Invitational, in which we're going to be tackling this Flashsider. Now, here's one that I got, and then here's another one that I got. And so now I had to make an initial decision which one to go with, and I decided that the blue one is really ugly. The yellow one's really not much better, but the blue one is so ugly, in fact, that I have no qualms whatsoever of ripping this to pieces. So we chose this ugly blue one. Okay, so as you would expect, it is a brand new car off its card, so there's not really any damage to it that I'm going to have to worry about. The base is perfect, the wheels are perfect, body, glass, everything is great. So all I got to do is drill apart this one post. The front end is held together with a tab, so just get this one post drilled apart, and then we can get this car apart and stripped down and ready for its makeover. Okay, so while we have a second, I just want to give a shout out to Lee over at Wee Little Cars. He is the founding father of the Three Blind Mice, and he is the reason you guys are able to participate with us now. It was his idea and his plan on how we could make this work and let you guys all be honorary blind mice. So if you're going to give a shout out, please give a shout out to Lee, because he's really the architect of all of this, and he deserves your thanks and recognition. All right, as I said, there's no surprises here in the Flashsider. Really simple vehicle, and right now I'm just struggling a little bit to imagine what I'm going to do with it. But anything's going to be better than that ugly blue with the pink tampos, so let's move on. If you watched any of my videos, you know that I love the paint stripper. I call mine the warm liquid goo phase, and if you know what that's from in the comments, drop a note, and into the warm liquid goo phase it goes, and then we can just chuck that over into the corner while we turn our attention to something else. So after the warm liquid goo and a dance in some warm soapy water, we go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. As I said, the casting is going to be in really great shape. There are going to be some casting lines that I'm going to get rid of, and it's something I normally wouldn't do. But what I've come up with is really, it's all about the paint job. And so I want the body to look as nice as possible. And there are some ugly casting lines up on the fenders and the hood that I'm going to file off. But for now, I'm just going to dry it off, get as much of this paint off as possible, and then we'll shine it up. But like I said, I can already see the casting lines, and they're going to have to go. You know my penchant for scrubbing with wire brushes and attacking things with picks and acids and all sorts of stuff like that. Sort of makes me sound like a masochist, but I'm not. I'm just a guy restoring a diecast car. Actually, this isn't a restoration. It's just a straight out customization. A lot of the stuff that you see me use is straight out of Harbor Freight. Now, I'm not going to buy something and think it's going to be the top of the line from Harbor Freight, but for things like brass brushes and picks and stuff like that, you cannot go wrong. If you don't have a set of these picks, you need to get yourself a set of these picks. All right, by using the pick, I can get down into the grooves and get all the little scummies that refuse to give up the ghost. I can get them all off of here. But after I'm done with the pick, I'm going to bring out the big dog, my wire brush on my rotary tool. And not only is that going to get rid of a lot of the stuff I couldn't get off any other way, it's also going to shine up the casting a little bit and make it really nice and ready for the paint. Now, I've had a lot of people call out my video on my rotary tool and say that it's not a Fordham, it's a knockoff. And maybe that's true, and I'm actually thinking about doing a follow-up video on the tool itself. But knockoff or not, the thing is awesome, and I love it, and I would be really, really sad if it went away. Anyhow, as you can see, the wire brush on the rotary tool was the last trick I needed, and look how nice. And right there, see right by the A-pillar, see that casting line? There's one on each side. That's got to go. There's also one up near each headlight. Yeah, here you can see another shot of it right on the corner of the hood. All right, so I got everything cleaned up, and by pressing the paper down over the casting, I can get a general idea of the size of it and get some kind of a little sketch. And I'm going to use that sketch to go into Illustrator and make a template for the paint job that I have in mind. So after I've done the template, I can export that into a software app called SignCut, which drives my plotter. And my plotter will cut out from vinyl essentially stickers. And I can use those as templates to mask off my truck for its paint job. So here I am at my desk on my laptop. The artwork was made in Illustrator, and I'm placing a copy of it into SignCut. Got everything set up the way I want it. Then I'm going to import the file. Once I have the file imported, I will make sure it's the right size. Once it's the right size and positioned properly on the page, I can then go ahead and send it to the cutter. All right, so everything's ready. We're at the cutter, and you can see it starts getting busy. And it's going to cut out all the little pieces that I need. And then when it's done, we'll weed away the extra, and we'll use these as masks for my paint job. Okay, so while I've been working on the masks, I went ahead and first took the car, I threw some Tamiya Fine Primer on it, and then I gave it a nice coat of pearl white paint, and set that aside to dry for a couple days. So the car is ready for its second layer, and that's going to be where the masks come into place. So after weeding away all the excess material, what I'm doing is I'm putting a piece of transfer tape over the top, and this will allow me to get it up off the backing paper, and then I can pick it up and stick it down wherever I want. So I'm going to just trim away a little bit of this excess because it just ends up getting in the way. And this piece here is going to mask off the roof. All right, here's the truck. You can see it. It's got its Createx pearl white paint job on it. And I want to paint the back half of the truck blue. So it's going to be kind of a blend from this pearl white through this star pattern to the back of the truck into a really nice deep blue. So all I'm doing is just kind of lining up the stars here and then start to press them down. Once I feel comfortable it's got a real good bite, I can go ahead and peel this carrier away, and that'll help me put the rest of the mask down properly. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about things, so I'm going to go ahead and try and get this carrier out of my way. That'll help me work and get the rest of the mask laid down properly. And you just want to move nice and slow. And all I'm doing right now is just trying to get the carrier off. I can worry about all the rest of it here now that it's gone. Okay, so once I finish getting the top mask down, I'll do both sides, and then I'll head to the paint booth. Now at the paint booth, I'm just using a little Tamiya blue paint, and I'm laying it down very lightly at first, trying to help seal the mask so I don't get a lot of bleeding and overspray underneath the mask. And because I know that I'm going to clear coat this, I can work slowly and put it up in very slow layers. I don't really need to worry about it too much. I'm just going to build this up very, very slowly and lightly to make sure I keep any damage in the pearl white areas down to a minimum. Okay, so that's about going to do it. And I'm going to go ahead and get my airbrush cleaned up, and then in keeping with my credo, I will immediately unmask this vehicle, especially because this vinyl is very aggressive in its grip. I don't want it on here any longer than it needs to be for fear of it ending up pulling some of the paint off with it. So I'm going to unmask it as soon as I can, and I'm going to be very ginger with it, and hopefully I can get it off there without it taking away any of the pearl paint. Honestly, the biggest pieces are going to come off the easiest. It's where I have individual little stars that are buried down in the paint that I'm going to have to try to pick up off of there that are going to be toughest. But a little patience and some magnifying lenses will go a long way. Okay, I did get a little bit of overspray, and all I'm using here is just a damp toothpick, and I'm just kind of rubbing away the blue. Now, if I keep working at it too aggressively, even though the pearl is really, really well cured, I could start to take that away. So I have to really balance this between getting away the little bits of overspray from the blue and not screwing up the pearl white. And if I do mess up the pearl white, then I'll just have to kind of touch it up with the airbrush again. Not a big deal, but you know, you don't want to make any more work for yourself if you don't need to. All right, there it is before we're going to start to get serious about detailing and clearing. So we'll set that aside to dry, and while it's doing that, we can turn our attention to the base. Now, the wheels were ugly as snot, and so a wheel change was a must. And so I've ground out the passageway where the old axle would sit so that I could make room for axle tubes. Now, I didn't try to bury them too deeply and get them to sit like they would sit normally because I wanted this to be lowered a little bit. So they're kind of sitting on top of where the old axles would be. But that should give me the stance that I'm looking for. Right here, I'm just kind of using a little super glue to fill in the gaps and make sure that these axle tubes aren't going to go anywhere anytime soon. As I was going in for a test fit, I found the axle tubes raised a brand new problem for me. There is some metal tabs molded into the body, and I assume they're there to just kind of add support to the axles and make sure they don't pop out in any way. Well, that's a problem for me because now they're sticking out too far. So what I've done is I've chucked up a grinding stone in my rotary tool And I'm just going to grind away as much of the tab as I need to so that this body will come back together again. I totally hate having to do stuff like this to a freshly painted body, but hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Just make sure you clean everything up when you're done and don't overheat the car too much with the grinding stone. All right, I've taken care of that little problem, and the body is nice and dry from sitting on its little baking lamp, and now it's time to go ahead and put the clear coat on it. This is what's really going to bring it all together and drive it home. So this is always where I really want to excel. I'm using my clear coat and hardener from Brightvision, and I'm just mixing it up. I've got my clear coat in the cup. I'll add some hardener, stir it all up, and we'll start to lay it down. You'll hear a million different ways on how to apply your clear coat, how to mix your clear coat. I go heavy on the hardener, and I always make sure I go light on the clear coat in the first stages. I wrap everything up at the very end by putting down a beautiful, nice, clear, wet coat. That gives the ultimate shine in your cars. I don't want to have to sand, I don't want to have to buff, I don't want to have to polish, I don't want to have to do anything to that clear coat at the end. And that's how I get a really magnificent shiny finish. After the clear coat, we'll send that off to the baking lamp to sit for a while. All right, everything is dry, everything is ready. Here I am fixing another mistake. You know, I've said this 1,000 times. You want to drill and tap the post before you put your paint job on, but every now and then I still forget and do it the wrong way. So here I am having to tap out the post on my freshly painted body. It sucks, but it was my mistake and I'm going to have to deal with it. Okay, so I'm using the tap handle that Brightvision came up with, and I just absolutely love it. It has made a tapper out of me. So I'm going to get this hole all tapped out for the screw, and then we can get back to the fun part, the final assembly. All right, we've got the glass in, the hole tapped, body's ready, got the new wheels on it, and it fits like a glove. And all we got to do is run this little screw into the bed, and voila, she's back together. Okay, as they say, the devil is in the details, so I'm going to detail. I'm going to use some Tamiya clear red for the taillights, and I'm going to bust out a little bit of Tamiya clear orange for the front marker lights, and I'm going to use some metallic silver for the headlights. The pièce de résistance will be some panel lining fluid in the front grille. That's going to give it a lot of depth and energy that otherwise you're just not going to see on this car, because that grille is really kind of boring. So for the paint application, I'm just getting a ball of paint on the end of my brush and dabbing it on there. And over that chrome, look how it brings that taillight to life. It seriously, it looks almost as if it is somebody stepping on the brake pedal. Look at that. How beautiful. All right, so that's all we've got to do. We can wrap this up and take a look at the final project. All right, there you have it, the Flashsider, the first Three Blind Mice Invitational featuring your cars alongside ours. I hope you guys had a fantastic time. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, click the little bell to be notified anytime I release a new video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I love chatting with you guys. All right, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions. I'm going to get out of here. Until next time, I hope you have a great day, and look out for your tail. Keep it tucked in nice and safe. Till next time, be good.